Well, I think I'm set up to cut the cut out where the top is going to set on the armrest. So basically cut the curve on the top side of the armrest. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a pencil line here. I just kind of had it set up with the pencil about where the bit was in the Dremel tool here, and then just ran it. And it follows that pencil line pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with where that pencil line is. So on this side of that pencil line is going to be my actual bevel for the armrest, and on this side of the pencil line is where the top will sit. And now I'm noticing that I've got a lot of extra armrest here, but seeing as I've not done this before, that doesn't surprise me all that much. What I did just think was I want to make sure, no, that's probably what I want. I may want to move this in just a touch more, because I wasn't really accounting for the width and the size of the bit. And this goes all the way through, so it should leave a nice pointed end, and I should be able to fit the binding on this side and the black, white, black strip on this side, and then it'll be the top. Should look really good. I don't know if you can see this thing. It's Jerry showed this off in the last build on the California Gold that didn't go to California. He built this to hopefully have a repeatable jig to use for doing this, and it set up pretty easy. It's taped down in 2 spots. There's also a screw. Can you see it? Yeah, the screw right here screws it into the mold, so everything should fit well, if it fits well in the mold. I'm suddenly in a hurry to get this done a little bit faster because Jerry is trying to get started on the next build. The 12 string, you've probably seen parts of it by now, but I've got to get going on getting this out of the mold so we can put the sides in the mold. So I guess I'm going to cut this a nice trial cut. Lower this down to where it's going to actually hit. Alright, it's there. I think I need to cut a little deeper. Oh, and it's moving. I had a little bit of a drop off on this side where the router table, I guess is what you would call it, fell off the side, but put a little, got really deep all of a sudden. That's okay because it was along the channel and it's not going to show up on the outside. So we're still doing good. I'm going to lower this down a little bit more. If I think about that, or in my head it sounds right that this channel needs to be as thick as the top is, which is about 100 thousandths, or barely at 30. So in my head that makes sense. That's what I'm going to go with. Looks good. Nice pointy edges the way I want them. About 50 thousandths. So lower her down some more. 75. I'm going to cut it just a little bit deeper, and I think it's going to be good. Alright, that's good and deep. Now what I'm going to do is try to take some of this extra off on the back side of it. And I should be able to do that really easily by just moving the Dremel tool in. And then running it a few times. Need vacuum. Well, I've got everything off of here. What you didn't see me do was I took the drum sanding tool on the Dremel and kind of took a little bit more off of this inside here we don't need. I tried to leave about as much a lip as there is, purfling with the side so that there's enough to glue the top to. I cleaned all this up on the back, so we should be ready to start trying to fit the top, I think. There's at least one more thing I need to do to the top. So I've got it. The braces are pretty well carved. I still need to reinforce the center. Once that's done, what I'm going to have to do is flip it over, go from the inside, mark all the braces where they, I'll zoom it out, mark all the braces where they hit the sides and then cut them off there. The other thing I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do is cut this crescent moon out of here so that it fits. That's something I'm not really looking forward to. But I think first thing, I'm going to go ahead and reinforce this center. It's about 5 o'clock. I'm going to go get something to eat, and by the time I get back it should be dry enough we can start playing with it some more. So that's what I'll do. Well, with a little persuasion from Mr. Heat Gun, I think this is dry enough that we can move on. It's not going to run anywhere, and it'll just dry a little bit more over time. The next step for me to do here is to flip the top over, get it all lined up, somehow hold it here all lined up, flip the whole thing over, and mark where all the braces need to be cut at. Biggest problem with this? Somehow finding out how to hold this here. I know how Jerry did this last. And the reason I know how he did this last was because I helped him do it. And I'm gonna have to figure out something else, something a little different than that, because it's just me in the shop. I guess what I could do is get the rubber bands out, clamp it on with those. That's a lot of extra work, but it'll do what I want it to, so I guess that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so I've got it all just kind of holding it down. It's not super tight, but it's, gonna hold it pretty snug. So basically what I need to do now is set it up so I can get at it from the other side and mark all the braces. I guess the easiest way to do that actually is just to flip it all the way over. Not have my pencil roll off. Something I maybe should have thought about was all the little pieces of wood inside the mold. Oops. Oh well. Alright, so now I can take my pencil here, go through and mark where all the braces hit the sides. Alright, I'll flip this back over. And take this off. Now, on the inside we've got all these marks where I need to cut the braces off at. And I will do such right now. Well, I took a chisel and I knocked off the ends of those braces, for the most part at least. So now it does sit inside, except for right here, which I still have to knock that crescent moon out of the side of this. I noticed it does actually sit down on the sides. I think. Well, there's still some. I don't know what the deal is. It almost goes. There's some alignment issue, I think. That looks good. Might be a little big still, I guess. Looks aligned. Actually, that's sitting there, I think. Sitting on the sides. Except for right there. I'm gonna actually clean these up just a little bit more. I noticed there's still some height in a couple of spots. So I've still got a little bit of cleaning to do on this, but it's starting to fit it. Something I need to start thinking about is how I'm going to cut this crescent moon out of the top. I've got some ideas, but I'm not quite 100% sure yet. So I'm going to get these braces cleaned up a little bit more, and then we'll come back and think about that.